Geronimo Stilton, The Hunt for the Colosseum Ghost. Read by Hosea Tongho. A strange cheese-colored envelope. I had just arrived in my office for the day when my assistant, Marcella McMouses, dumped a huge pile of mail on my desk. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Stilton, Geronimo Stilton, and I'm the publisher of the Rodents Gazette, the most famous newspaper on the Mouse Island. As I was saying, I had a lot of email. One envelope contained a contract to sign, another had a manuscript by a promising new writer, and one was a postcard my Aunt Sweetfur had sent from her vacation on Fur-Flung Island. There were also bills to pay, the office gas bill, a bill from the architect friend, Marcelina Straight Edge. She had recently installed solar panels on my house, and a bill from the mechanic who had just fixed my car. Finally, there was a purple, perfumed envelope. Squeak! I immediately recognized the scent. It was Rattan No. 5, my friend Crapella von Cracklefur favorite perfume. One thing you should know is that Crapella tells everyone she's my girlfriend, but it's not true. We're just friends. Rodent's honor. I opened the envelope. Jerrykins, next week is our anniversary. I have planned a cheese stew dinner at Cacklefur Castle with the whole family. Don't forget, your beloved Crapella. What anniversary? I squealed aloud. We're not even dating. Frosty, killer letter. A dinner at Cacklefur Castle with the whole family. I can't stand cheese stew. And Crapella's family can be incredibly, well, creepy. I was about to call Crapella to let her know once and for all that I only like her as a friend. I only planned to tell her, but I couldn't attend an anniversary party with the entire family. But then I caught sight of an official-looking yellow letter in the stack of her mail. What a strange, cheese-colored envelope. I opened it immediately and almost jumped out. Holy cheese! It was a letter from the principal of my little nephew Benjamin's school. I remember Mr. Strickfer. Well, he had been my teacher long ago. For a moment, I looked down at memory lane. Mr. Strickfer had been my teacher at Little Tales Academy. My fellow students and I were also nervous whenever there was a quiz. It's no coincidence that his name is Strickfer. Dear Mr. Stilton, I am writing to inform you that your nephew Benjamin is struggling to keep his grades up this semester. His history grade is especially problematic. In fact, his teacher recently quizzed him on ancient Rome, and he was not able to answer a single question correctly. Let me know when you can meet so we can discuss this issue. Benjamin is a very bright young mouselet, and I would like to give him a chance to improve his grade before it's too late. I don't want him to have to hold him back a year at the end of the school. Best regards, Stuart Strickfer, Principal. He was one of the toughest teachers in the school, but years later I understood that it was because he cared about us. It's thanks to him that I learned so many things about history. That has been useful in my job at the Rodents Gazette, and our history was the very subject that seemed to be causing Benjamin the most trouble. Strickfer's amazing memory. I picked up the phone and immediately called the principal. Hello, I squeaked. Am I speaking to Mr. Stuart Strickfer? Stilton, Geronimo Stilton, I deep voice replied. Is it really you, the one who always sat in the back of the class, the one who used to throw spitballs at the mouselets with golden braids, who sat in the third desk on the row of the second row? The one who could never remember when Rome was founded, the one I was about to hold back in 5th grade because he was always daydreaming instead of studying. That Geronimo Stilton? I was flabbergasted. Holy cheese, what an excellent memory. He had recognized me by my voice, and he remembered everything about me, down to the mouse that I had a crush on. Yes, Strickfer. It's me, Stilton, Geronimo Stilton. I can't believe you still remember me. Are you kidding, Stilton? He replied with a chuckle. Stuart Strickfer never forgets a snout, a name, or a grade. Gulp. Was it really possible he remembered me and my terrible history grade? I remember perfectly well that you struggled with history until I got you to improve, he continued. Do you remember when I took the class to Rome on a school trip? You started doing pretty well after that. In fact, your history grade that year was an A. Yes, you're right, I agreed. Thank you for taking me on that trip. I recalled how much that visit had changed my outlook on history. Mr. Strickfer had helped me learn to love and appreciate the past. I could still recall him tearing up as he stood outside the Colosseum and told our class about its historical significance. Gladiators fought in this arena, Romans sat on these steps, and Rome's most popular shows took place here, Mr. Strickfer had squeaked passionately. Close your eyes and pretend you've gone back in time. Imagine you see the senators and the emperor surrounded by his trusted men. Now pretend you can smell the bread the Romans loved to eat, and pretend you can hear the cheering crowd. History isn't dead, it's alive and it's fabulous. Studying history is just like traveling through time. From then on, history had become my favorite subject. Suddenly, I had a revelation. Principal Strickler, I was just calling to let you know that you don't have to worry about my nephew Benjamin's history grade. I'm going to help him improve by doing what you did with me years ago. I'm taking him on a trip to Rome. Then I hung up on the phone and called Benjamin right away. Hi, nephew, I squeaked. I know you're having a hard time in school right now, but don't worry, I'll help you learn about ancient Rome, and we'll do it while having fun. We're going to go visit Rome together, and soon you'll have a much easier time remembering all your important historical events that happened there. Your cousin Trappy will be joining us too. Pack your bags. We're leaving this morning. The next day, the three of us were on our way to Rome. We boarded a special non-stop flight to Italy. That included an unlimited pizza throughout the entire trip. Don't you recognize me? As soon as we landed, we collected our luggage. While we waited for our taxi to take us downtown Rome, I devoured a triple cheese pizza. We were in Italy, the home of pizza, and I couldn't help myself. I was still eating when a rodent with long, dark, wavy fur and dark eyes approached me. She was wearing a cheese-colored pantsuit, and she gave me a big hug. Hello, I squeaked. Geronimo, she gasped dramatically. Don't you recognize me? I had no idea who it was. Also, the bite of pizza I just swallowed was stuck in my throat. I replied. She giggled. Go on, I'm Rotella Spy Whiskers, she said, winking at me. You remember me now, don't you? You haven't changed one bit. Always stuffing yourself pizza, you foodie? Then she winked at me again. Sorry, Emma. Oh, Joe, how could you forget me? She squeaked. Annoyed this time. We were in the same class at New York City High School. See, look at this picture. She winked at me a third time and then waved a photo in front of my snout. It showed me and another mouse sitting at two desks, but the rodent in the photo looked nothing like her. She had written on the photo in red marker, "Wake up, pretend you recognize me. Special Agent OOG. I am a Special Agent OOR. You have just been recruited for a very secret mission in Rome. I should tell you that sometimes I work as a secret agent for the government of Mouse Island, and that my secret name is OOG. Holy cheese, I squeaked in reply. Of course I recognize you, Rotella. It's been such a long time since I last saw you. Look so different than you did when we attended school together, I babbled on. I mean, of course you're not the same mouse. You're the same mouse. How could I forget? Benjamin reached out to shake her paw. Pleased to meet you, Miss Spy Whiskers, he said sweetly. Trappy giggled. You were Uncle G's classmate, she asked, astonished. How funny that we bumped into you here. Marcella winked at me again. Where are you staying, Your Honor? She asked. At the Three Lucktails Hotel. What a lucky coincidence, she said. I'm staying there too. So we all shared a taxi to the hotel. When we arrived a short time later, we sat down to eat another masterpiece pizza. While I was gobbling up the last piece, my cell phone rang. It was Grandfather William Shortpaws. He's the original founder of the Rollins Gazette, and he's always keeping tabs on me. Grandson, he shouted in the phone. What's that I hear about you taking a trip to Italy? Thanks to my slacker alarm. I just knew you weren't working. Get back to the paper right away. My grandfather, I tried to explain. This is a good reason why I'm here. It involves Benjamin, and as publisher and editor, it's good for me to travel and expose myself to new ideas and the latest news. New ideas, latest news, Grandfather huffed. By my opinion, you're just slacking off as usual, and I'm sure you're stuffing yourself with pizza. Holy cheese. How does Grandfather always know exactly what's going on? I hung up the phone and picked up a newspaper so I'd feel less guilty about being away from work. I glanced at the headlines. Chewy Cheddar, what a shock. The Colosseum ghost. I headed to my hotel immediately. There's a suitcase in the closet with a card inside. Secret agent suitcase for OOG. A ghost is haunting the Colosseum, I squeaked. How fear-raising. I looked back into the suitcase. It contained a tourist guide to Rome, including a city map with detailed information on a secret passageway and other useful stuff for special agents. Night vision goggles, a small metallic box containing one grade tablet that can create a thick smoke to shield me from sticky enemies, and super glue. A clothespin, a recipe for secret agent pizza, a miniature gladiator costume, complete with 1,000 strange tools. Done. Polvo? I murmured to myself. No way. Not for all the pizzas in Rome. I am not an athletic mouse. I use the 2 straps to turn the suitcase into a backpack. Then I put the umbrella in the bag and pulled it out on my shoulders. A second later, my phone began to ring. It was Reptile's Spy Whiskers. Secret Agent OOG, she squeaked. Come down to the main lobby immediately. Listen to my instructions carefully. We're going to pretend we're regular tourists, visiting the Colosseum. We tried to take an official tour, but it won't be easy. Apparently, a ghost has been scaring a tourist away for at least a week. Now come on down, I'll wait for you there. By the way, this mission is extremely dangerous. But you're not scared, are you? No, I stuttered. Of course not. My whiskers were trembling with fear as I went downstairs with Benjamin and Trappy, feeling very anxious. Why oh why had I ever become an agent? We had just enough time to grab a quick vegetarian pizza at the hotel. The guide was pointing to the most interesting and well-known sites. That's the Roman Forum on the left, the center of ancient Rome public life. Over there are remains of the Domus Aurea, also known as the Golden House. The ornate palace had high gold ceilings decorated with precious stones, and there was the home of the Emperor Nero, and to the right of the ruins, some ancient Roman baths, where everyone went daily to bathe, relax, and socialize. If you head in that direction, you'll find the oldest Roman road, the Appian Way. Old roads, ancient baths. Wow, Benjamin squeaked with delight. Can you tell me who built them and when? You're right, Uncle G. History is massiverific, I smiled. My plan was working. Benjamin was becoming more interested in history. Uncle G, look, Trappy squeaked suddenly. She pointed to a very long leopard print car that seemed to be following us. How strange. It looked exactly like my damn no cars. But what was happening there? Before I could figure it out, we pulled out in front of the Colosseum. When I got off the bus, I saw a fancy leopard print car with tinted windows again. It was parked right outside the Colosseum. Ladies and gentlemen, our tour includes a visit to the Colosseum, our guide explained, but no one has been inside since last week. It says a ghost is haunting the ruins. Here are your tickets, the ticket agent squeaked desperately. It's completely safe. The director of the Colosseum urged us kindly. Please do come in. Suddenly, as the sun set in the orange sky, we heard a bird-killing scream. Rude to any mouse who dares come in. You have to face the gladiator. No and oh, nosy snout. Trappy and Benjamin looked at me fearfully. My whiskers are shaking, Uncle, Trappy squeaked softly. Anyone would be scared, Rattler Spy Whiskers said, but not you, Secret Agent OOG, right? My teeth were chattering in terror, but I tried to get a hold of myself. Of course I'm not scared. I'm not scared at all. At the moment, I spied an arrogant-looking rat near the entrance to the Colosseum. I recognized him immediately. It was Ned Nosy Snout, a famous reporter for the Mouse Island. I didn't know him personally, but I knew he had a reputation for being ruthless. He'd do anything to get an exclusive story. He recognized me too. Well, wow, he said with a smirk. It's Geronimo Stilton in the fur. What are you doing? I smiled. That's right, it's me. I came to Rome to visit the Colosseum. You can't go inside the Colosseum, he said, with a dramatic gasp. They say it's haunted by a very dangerous ghost. Then he turned to his camera mouse, Earl. But the two of them are planning to go inside anyways, Ned boasted. And when we come out, we'll have the best story of the year. No, the century. That's right, Ned, Earl replied with a sneer. Meanwhile, the director of the Colosseum tried to reassure the tourists. There's really nothing to be afraid of, he insisted. Please, you're all welcome to go inside. But no one would go in. As if they clapped encouragingly for Ned and Earl. You two are so brave, they shouted. Way to go. So two of them boldly walked inside, and 5 minutes later, they ran out, squeaking at the top of their lungs. They looked so pale as mozzarella. What did you see? Ned took a deep breath. It was a ghost, he stammered. A real ghost. He was standing in the middle of the arena dressed like a gladiator. He followed us around, moving a sword. He wanted to spare us like mouse kebabs. Yikes. The tourists all quickly turned away to leave. A ghost, one shouted? No way. I'm not going in there. It's too scary, another agreed. The director tried to get them to change their minds. Come on, he squeaked desperately. The Colosseum is interesting and it's of all historical value. But the tourists just shook their heads and then walked away. It was no use. The director stood there alone in the amphitheater, tugging at his whiskers. Alas, this is it, he cried mournfully. I'll be unemployed. Actually, I'm already unemployed, because nobody wants to visit the Colosseum anymore. A ticket agent closed the ticket office. Boss, I won't come to work tomorrow, she said sadly as she walked away, mumbling to herself, I haven't sold a single ticket all week. The Gladiator Ghost. The director began to sob. Rotella tried to comfort him. Sir, please don't worry, she said confidently. Geronimo is going to go inside and prove there's no ghost because ghosts aren't real, right, Stilton? Me? Why me? But Rotella was already pushing me towards the entrance. I'll do my best. I squeaked nervously. But shouldn't someone come with me? Oh no, you'll be fine, Rotella replied. I'll just wait here with Benjamin and Trappy. Good luck, Uncle, Benjamin squeaked. I tried to smile, even though my teeth were chattering with fear. How could I let down my sweet little nephew? Be strong, Uncle G, Trappy added. So I walked towards the entrance, my paws trembling like warm baked brie. To calm myself, I kept repeating this mantra. Ghosts aren't real. Ghosts aren't real. Ghosts aren't real. When I walked in, it was absolutely silent. I admired the circular arena in the center of the Colosseum and old ruined stands all around me. Wow, reassured. I took a few steps, repeating to myself, ghosts aren't real. Ghosts aren't real. Ghosts aren't. Suddenly, an enormous gladiator jumped. You will regret taking on the gladiator ghost. How dare you enter the Colosseum? In front of me, armed with a sword and a shield, just like an ancient Roman. He took a step towards me, and I took off as quickly as the wind. You have no idea how fast I can run when I'm being chased by the ghost of a Roman gladiator. He ran with long strides, the ground beneath him shaking with every poor step he took. Somehow, I managed to outrun him. I sprinted out of the Colosseum and collapsed in a heap. Rotella, Spy Whiskers, Benjamin, Trappy, and the director of the Colosseum surrounded me. Well? Rotella asked hopefully. There really is a ghost, I squeaked between my breath. Help! I already know that, Geronimo. Rotella replied with a huff. Tell me something new. Then she knelt down next to me and whispered into my left ear. Well, Uncle? Agent OG, I demand you go back inside the Colosseum immediately, and this time I want results. What about the ghost? I stammered in reply. Do you think the 2 secret agents would have been assigned to this mission if it was going to be easy, Geronimo? Find out who he is and why he's here, she asked. Remember, you can use all the tools inside the secret suitcase. So get back in there now, understand? I excused myself for a moment and left Rotella with Benjamin and Trappy. Then I went over to the bench opposite the Colosseum. There I calmly went through the tools in my suitcase. I saw a map of Rome and a plastic bag, painted with instructions. Vacuumed, rodent gladiator costume. Pull cord to open. Curiously, I pulled the cord. A second later, out popped the perfect gladiator costume, completed with a shield and a helmet. It had all been vacuum packed. I rushed to put everything on. Coconut ice cream. I realized there were instructions on the back of the map. To access the secret entrance to the Colosseum, you must go to the ice cream cart. In front of the Colosseum, the vendor will point out the secret passageway. Just say the phrase, coconut ice cream with whipped cream, toasted almonds, and a cherry on top, then stick out your tongue. I saw an ice cream cart right in front of me, so I followed the instructions in front of me. But instead of giving me ice cream and directions to a secret passageway, the vendor looked insulted. How rude, he squeaked. Why are you sticking out your tongue at me? I quickly realized there was another ice cream cart in front of the Colosseum. I stamped over there and ordered again. This time, when I stuck out my tongue, the vendor winked back and handed me an ice cream cone. I licked it and discovered a note in the whipped ice cream. Special Agent OOG. Take 30 steps to the right, towards the newsstand opposite the Colosseum, and take 4 steps to the left, towards the crooked tree, and take 10 steps forward toward the water fountain. Turn around, and you'll see a manhole cover. Lift it and climb in carefully, but be sure to put your snout shut with a clothespin first. How strange. Why did I need to pin my snout shut with a clothespin? I'd carefully lifted the manhole cover and climbed in. As soon as it closed behind me, I understood why I was wearing a clothespin. Even with it on, the smell was overwhelming, and I had walked into a sewer. A secret passageway. It was really dark in the sewer. I put on my night vision goggles and walked carefully with a very narrow sidewalk. along a drain tunnel. The tunnel was filled with foaming, stink, greenish water. My whiskers were trembling. Cheese and crackers, it was so disgusting. Ever so often, I heard a loud buzz and strange metallic sounds click, clack, 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 clack. I pulled over my secret agent umbrella and turned it in flashlight mode. Finally, I saw a fluorescent green sign on the wall that glowed in the dark. It read, Special OJ. Climb this ladder. I cautiously scampered up the slippery steps, being careful not to look down. When I got to the top of the ladder, I found another manhole cover. I lifted it and climbed through to discover a room full of enormous spiders. More than mozzarella. What were the spiders doing here? There were so many of them, and they were so huge. They scampered around while glaring menacingly at me with their beady little eyes. I tried to run away, but I kept getting caught up in the sticky webs. Somehow, I was able to break free from the webs. I scampered away as quickly as I could, but the biggest spider followed me. Help, I cried. I don't want to lose my fur. Ahead of me, I saw a small opening in the wall. Desperately, I tried to wiggle my body through it, but my tail got stuck. Unfortunately, the spider took advantage of my opportunity and pinched me on the butt. Ouchie! I was able to pull myself through and get to the opening. Great Googa, I was saved. But where was my secret agent suitcase? Crackanumbles, I left it behind. What a nightmare. I reached back through the opening with my paw and felt for the suitcase, struggling to find it. A second later, squeak! I had it. Inside the Colosseum. Wow, what an adventure. I paused for a minute to catch my breath. When I turned around, I was in for another shock. Matilda Spy Whiskers was standing in front of me. Yikes! I squeaked. What are you doing? I mean, how did you get in? I came in through another secret passageway, she whispered. I'm a secret agent too, remember? I decided to come help you. I figured you would never make it without me. I brought Benjamin and Trappy along, but I didn't tell them we're secret agents. At the moment, two familiar little snouts popped up behind her. It was Benjamin and Trappy. Hi, Uncle G, Benjamin, as he gave me a hug. We came to help find you the ghost. Trappy squeaked. Isn't that great? But it's too dangerous, I replied, worried. Oh, please, Benjamin said sweetly. A pleading look of eyes came into his eyes. It will be an adventure. I'm so glad I came to Rome with you. This is the greatest trip I've ever been on. Though these ancient ruins are so cool. You were right, Uncle G. History is fun. Hearing those words reminded me that at least part of my mission in Rome had been a success. History was really coming alive for my nephew. Of course, you and Trappy will come along, I said, giving in, but stay close to us and be careful. I told them that spiders I had encountered. They were looking around and discovered that they were on the lower level of the Colosseum. I explained to Benjamin and Trappy that the shows how they were often most brutal. Gladiators, who were usually slaves of criminals, were made to fight each other or against wild animals. As we explored the passageways underneath the Colosseum, I noticed ancient objects were everywhere. There were old-fashioned wood and brass chariots, as well as weapons hanging on the wall. But oddly, the items looked very new, rather than thousands of years old. How strange. Suddenly I heard voices shouting. It sounded exactly like a live audience cheering for a gladiator fight. What in the name of cheese was going on? Could Rotella, Benjamin, Trappy, and I have gone back in time for the early days of the Colosseum? Had we somehow travelled not just to Rome, but to the time of the gladiators too? My poor whiskers. A moment later we heard a roar. We scampered up a ladder and ended in front of one of the entrances to the arena. We quickly hid behind a thick wooden door. I opened it a creak and peeked inside the arena. Holy cheese, what an incredible sight. The Colosseum stone stands were filled with thousands of ancient Romans. They were farmers, merchants, priests, soldiers, and Romans of all ages, waiting for the fight to begin. Opposite us was the imperial box, which is where the emperor and his trusted advisors sit. The emperor lifted a paw and the whole crowd cheered. The gladiator emerged from the side arena door and walked towards the center of the arena. It was a gladiator ghost. We watched from behind the wooden door as he began to swarm up, swinging his sword back and forth. He was very, very close to us. Suddenly the gladiator ghost waved his sword so violently it grazed my helmet and sheared off my whiskers. "Help!" I squeaked before I could stop myself. "My poor whiskers!" "Holy cheese!" Rotella whispered. "How strange! If he sheared off your whiskers, he can't be a ghost. He's a real gladiator." Unfortunately for all of us, the gladiator heard my scream. He stopped swinging and warming up immediately and started chasing me. As he gained up on Rotella squeaked, "Quick, Stilton, use the suitcase." I frantically rummaged through the suitcase, trying to come up with a plan. But what could I use to stop the dangerous gladiator? The glue. I took out the small packet of super glue and spread it on the ground in a sticky puddle. Luckily for me, the gladiator ghost got stuck in it, but he just slipped his footwear and ran after us again. "Quick, Stilton," Rotella squeaked again. "Use the suitcase." Of course, I rummaged through it again, and this time I took out the grey tablet. I tossed it to the ground, and a thick cloud of smoke formed, blocking the gladiator's view. As we ran to the Colosseum, the crowd chanted as the gladiator, encouragingly, saying, "Get them, get them, get them." I turned towards the Imperial box and pleaded the Emperor for mercy. "Excuse me," I squeaked. "You, Mr. Emperor, we haven't done anything wrong. Please tell the gladiator to stop chasing us." But that moment, Rotella grabbed me by the ear and dragged me away. "If you really care for your fur, follow me," she squeaked. A daring escape. Benjamin, Trappy, and I, and Rotella all followed each other to the top level of the Colosseum. We had nowhere else to run. We couldn't go back down because the gladiator ghost was sure to get us. But we couldn't go any farther up because we were already at the top. Trap and Benjamin looked very worried. "Uncle G, what are we going to do now?" Benjamin squeaked softly. "Holy cheese, we were trapped." "What could we do?" "We need a plan," Rotella replied. "It looks like the gladiator ghost is determined to get us. And he's not the only one." "Look," Benjamin shouted. "Over there." He pointed across the Colosseum, and I gasped. Holy cheese, a bunch of Roman soldiers. They were heading right towards us. "I have an idea," Rotella squeaked. She grabbed the secret agent umbrella and pressed the hot button, and a hot air balloon appeared. We quickly climbed into the basket. Then we slowly floated down to the center of the arena, leaving the soldiers and gladiator at the top of the Colosseum. We were safe. Wait a minute. No, we weren't. I realized there was a lion in the center of the arena. First it was pacing back and forth. When it noticed us, it came closer, growling at us with its jaws wide open. I bravely faced the lion standing between it. Trappy and I began to protect them. Just a rat tail, I didn't want to become lion food. Luckily, I opened my umbrella and pressed the emergency shield button just in time. Phew, saved by a whisker. Still, the lion had raised its paw and was about to strike. I prepared for the collision, covering my snout with my paws. But nothing happened. Nothing happened. "How dare you, Stilton!" I peeked out from behind the umbrella shield. What was going on? Why hadn't the lion pounced on me? Then I realized something. The lion was just a holograph projection. It wasn't real. I looked around and discovered many beams of light shining towards the center of the arena. The light was coming from the huge projectors that had hidden in the Colosseum stand. None of it had been real. It was all an illusion. I ran towards the stands, which were crowded with cheering citizens. But as I got closer, I bumped into a giant movie screen. Holy cheese, the entire Colosseum had been turned into a huge 3D theater. Someone had even brought in special effects, like bad smells, so we would think we had traveled back in time. I turned back to the center of the arena. There was a gladiator ghost. He had made his way from the top of the He had made his way down from the top of the Colosseum. "I'm not afraid of you," I squeaked boldly. "You're not even real." Then I ran straight towards him. Bonk! Only mozzarella. I thought I could walk right through the projector of the gladiator, but I was wrong. The gladiator wasn't a hologram. It was a robot. Squeak! Ouch, that hurt. I smashed into the robot so hard it broke into pieces. I am glad the robot croaked before it powered down completely and lay motionless on the ground like a mound of scrap metal. Suddenly, there was a shout from the Imperial box. "How dare you, Stilton!" I ran towards the image of the fake Emperor, pulling the movie screen aside. I found myself in the middle of a secret room full of massive computers. It was Ned and Earl Nosy Snout, and they were making a gigantic screen above them displaying Madame Nose's scowling snout. "You two are useless," she squeaked at Ned and Earl. "You are 100% incompetent." And she gained towards me. "You may have won this round, Stilton, but this isn't over." The screen went black. Outside the Colosseum, I heard an engine revving up, followed by the sound of squealing tires. I had a feeling it was Madame Minot in a leopard print limousine. making a quick getaway. Nick and Earl glanced at each other in alarm. They then too tried to run. I quickly popped open the secret agent suitcase and sprayed some super glue on the ground. The glue created a sticky puddle that trapped the two things that trapped the two thugs. They weren't gonna go anywhere. The Colosseum ghost hoax. I called the police and quickly explained what happened. I had a feeling they would be very interested in taking Ned and Earl Nosy Snout, but the director of the Colosseum was still very confused. I just don't understand, he squeaked as he stood scratching his head. How did the gladiator ghost appear in the Colosseum? Well, I can't be sure, but I think I have an idea. I explained. Madame No and Ego Corp had a plan. They wanted to make the Colosseum worthless, so they could buy it at a very low price. Then she could build a new real estate development there. And Madame No didn't want anyone to know it was her, so she hired Earl and Ned Nosy Snout to set everything up. They built the control room and brought in the robot. And since Ned Nosy Snout is a famous reporter, he wrote about the ghost in the newspaper so the tourists would be too scared to visit the Colosseum anymore. Then Ned and Earl had to be sure everyone believed that there really was a ghost, so they screened a sophisticated 3D movie all around the arena's seating area. That way, anyone standing in the middle of the arena would be convinced that it was all real. Ned and Earl even had special effects like stinky sewer smells. The gladiator was actually one of Madame No's robots, not a holographic projection. The director nodded his head. A small crowd had gathered around him as well, and they were all shocked at the incredible tale I had just told. So in other words, I concluded dramatically, none of this is real. Rotella raised her eyebrows at me. Then she leaned over to a whisper in my ear. Agent OJ, you really do mean this means that the enormous spiders you ran into, the sewers, were fake too, right? Of course, I squeaked, my fur turning red with embarrassment. I mean, everyone knows enormous spiders aren't a real thing. They just look so scary I couldn't help being frightened. At that moment, police officers escorted Ned and Earl Nosy Snout right past me. They looked furious. Stilton, why do you have to stick your whiskers where they don't belong? Ned squeaked. Yeah, Earl. You should have minded your own business. That would have been possible. I squeaked right back. Whenever there's mystery to be solved, an injustice to correct, or news to be shared, well then readers, the Rollins Gazette have a right to know. And that's my job, or my name isn't Stilton. Geronimo Stilton. Then I called the newspaper. Hello, it's Geronimo. I have an exclusive story from Rome. The headline should read, The Hunt for the Colosseum Ghost. Then I went through the details of what had happened. The following day my grandfather William called me. For once he had something to say. Congratulations, grandson, he squeaked. Well done, your article on the Colosseum Ghost has helped us sell more copies than any other copy in the town. Sally Brat Mouse at the Daily Rat is very jealous. Ha ha ha. Sally is my fierce rival. And the Daily Rat is the Rollins Gazette biggest competitor. Good for you, grandson, my grandfather continued. I'm so proud of you. I'm sorry I scolded you for traveling to Italy. I understand now that you need to travel to get new ideas and to have access to exclusive stories. In other words, you were right. I could barely believe my ears. Grandfather didn't often admit to be wrong. By the way, he continued, I know I don't tell you often enough, but remember that I love you. I smiled. But thank you, grandfather, I squeaked. I love you too. I hung up the phone and hugged Benjamin and Trappy. I love you so much, I told them. Sometimes we forget to say that to the closest people to us. Benjamin hugged me back. Thanks, Uncle, he squeaked. When I grow up, I want to be a fearless reporter just like you. Trappy winked at me. Well, to be honest, I think sometimes Uncle G's a little scared, she said. But he is brave. I love you too, Uncle. Congratulations, OOJ, Rotella said quietly. Mission accomplished. Goodbye, Italy. It was time for us to leave Rome and return to New Mouse City. As we boarded our flight home, I composed this poem. Oh, Rome, what a fair city, full of ruins and ancient history. Statue and fountains, pizza and more. We'll soon be back for another tour. My home was in a New Mouse City, but I was so sad to leave such a special place. You'll never guess who came to meet me when I got off. Kripala was there when I came off the plane. She brought her entire family with her, and the Trooper at 3000 ran out to me and hugged me tightly, my little Jerry Berry. Do you know what day it is? She squeaked sweetly. It's the anniversary of our first date. You didn't forget, did you? Kripala, I said kindly. I'm so happy to see you. But do you know we aren't dating, right? We're just good friends. What? Her father boy squeaked. You're not her boyfriend? Why not? It's very clear to me you two are made for each other. Even though there won't be any anniversary party tonight, we'll still celebrate something important, our friendship. I replied, Cropilla, you and your family are my friends, and I love you all dearly. Please come to my house and I'll make you a very special dinner. Pizza? The Von Kachelper family replied. We love pizza. The friendship party was Flapping Mouse. The next day, Benjamin went to our school and had a quiz on an ancient Rome test. Thanks to his first-hand experience on our trip, he aced the test. He came home, waving his paper proudly. I did it, Uncle G, he squeaked happily. Look! I realized the principal Strickfer had helped me when I had been a student, and I had helped Benjamin in the same way. Maybe one day Benjamin will help someone else develop a love for history too. I thought for a moment about how satisfying it is to share pizza with those we love, whether it's a special pizza of love or knowledge. The warm feeling I get inside from helping others is even better than a slice of Mouse Island's finest cheese. And now, my dear readers, I'm afraid the story must come to an end. Farewell until the next adventure. Mini Mystery Story: The Cheese Burglar. A garbage can for Mr. Sultan. It was a beautiful Saturday morning in spring. I was dusting the display case that held my precious cheese wine collection. You see, I have wines dating from all the way back to the 6th century. They're my most prized possessions. I'm so sorry, I almost forgot to introduce myself. My name is Sultan, Geronimo Sultan. I'm the Rodents Gazette. I run the Rodents Gazette, the most famous newspaper on Mouse Island. So, I was dusting my display case when the doorbell rang. I opened the door to find a yellow garbage can that said security system. How strange. I hadn't ordered a security system. Before I could squeak a word, the garbage came strolling out towards me and followed me right inside. How weird. I closed the door and followed the garbage can into the living room. It just kept going. This was very peculiar. The garbage can set rolling around. It knocked over a couple of chairs and a china vase. Then it slid towards the precious cheesy wine display, and it sprang forwards and tried to stop. As soon as my paw touched the lid, a siren blared. Accidentally, I had set the alarm off. I tried desperately to turn it off. Suddenly, the garbage can split into a sheet of paper. To deactivate the alarm, insert 3 bananas. I finally understood. Not again, I shouted. Get your tail out of here right now. The garbage can lifted up, and snout. And a snout I knew peeked out. Hello, my dear Sultan. How do you like my little prank? The mice convention. It was on a friend of Hercule Portrait. The detective. Hercule and I have been friends since we were just mouselets. I love him dearly. I've always hated these pranks. Why in some of these cheese would you use something like this? I asked. Well, today you're going to present your cheese wine collection at Mice and the annual Mouse Island Cheese Exhibition. So I thought that you might need a security system, the infamous cheese wine bandit. Supposed to be there, Rancy Rat Hairs, I exclaimed. I'd forgotten all about mice. When I received the invitation, I wasn't sure whether or not I should go, but then I learned from the Professor Reginald Rin Rat that the most famous cheese wine collector of all time would be there. I immediately decided to attend. The convention's organizer had offered each collector an armored car so we could transport our antique wines safely and securely. I had agreed because I too had heard that the cheese wine bandit was planning on making an appearance. I looked at my watch. It was 9:50. The armored car will be here in 2 minutes, I exclaimed. Do you need help? My dear Stilton asked. Hercule? No, thank you. I can hold open your suitcase if you want. No, thank you. Would you like a banana? No, thank you. Hey, let me peel one for you. No, thank you. At the moment the doorbell rang. Stilton, the armored car is here. Why don't I open the door for you? All right, fine. Open the door. 2 helpers plus 1 more. Fortunately, it was not the armored car. It was my nephew Benjamin and his friends Bugsy Wugsy. They carried in the front door. Hey, Uncle Geronimo, Benjamin exclaimed. Everything ready for the convention? Hi, Benjamin, I said. I just adore the little mouse. Yes, I'm already here. Hello, Mr. Portrait, Bugsy Wugsy said. Are you exhibiting the convention too? Not really, said Portrait. Peeling a banana. My dear friend Stilton needed a helping paw, since he is clumsier than a gulp in a garbage can, so here I am. I muttered under my breath. I'm not that clumsy. At the exact moment, I slipped on the banana peel. Poor rat had just dropped on the floor. Crusty cheese rinds. What a tumble! Are you hurt, Uncle G? Bugsy asked, moving forward and accidentally stepped on my tail. Youch! Uncle, do you need help too? Benjamin asked sweetly. We'll help you display your cheese rinds. Bugsy offered. Well, I don't know, I began. We'll keep an eye out for suspicious rodents. Well, I don't know. Don't damage your little grace house, Stilton, poor rat said. Let us help. All right, I finally agreed. I didn't seem to have a choice. You can all come to the convention with me. Just then we heard the sound of a car horn out in the street. Beep, beep. Are you Mr. Stilton? Bugsy peeped out the window. There's a van here, with the driver, all dressed in black. She's waiting for you, Uncle G. I opened the door. On stood a rodent with dark glasses and curly blonde fur. Are you Mr. Stilton? She asked. Yes, that's me, I replied. I'm doing security for mice. She explained. I'm here to escort you to the exhibition hall. Oh yes, I'm ready, I replied without thinking. Really? She looked me over with a snap to tail. Because it looks like you're still in your pajamas. Oh yes, sir. Of course, I mumbled. Just give me 1 minute, please. It took me 10 seconds to wash my face, 10 seconds to brush my teeth, 10 seconds to get dressed, 5 seconds to comb my hair, 20 seconds to style the cheese rinds in my steel briefcase, 5 seconds to lock the door. I was ready in exactly 1 minute. The security rodent was incredibly impressed. A dangerous driver. I shook the rodent's paw. My name is Ashley Doe, and she said, but you can call me Ash. Climb in and hold on tight. I scrambled into the van. Ash's powerful perfume made my snout spin. Hercule, Benjamin, and Bugsy climbed in too. The van sprang away and the curb faster than a mouse trap spring. Jumping gerbil babies! I was terrified. Stilton, Hercule hissed. He was as pale as a slice of mozzarella. Can you ask your new friend to slow down? Yes, Uncle Geronimo, Benjamin agreed. I'm feeling sick. His snout was as green as moldy cheddar. But Bugsy seemed fine now. Wow, this is a roller coaster, she exclaimed. You're a great driver, Miss Dow. Thanks, Ash replied. You're sweeter than cheddar cheesecake. Ash stopped in the car in front of the exhibition hall. Here we are, she said. As we scurried out to the van, I noticed something dangling from the wrist of Ash's uniform. Unlucky number 13. Ash, Hercule, Benjamin, Bugsy, and I scampered into the enormous exhibition hall. We followed Ash to the booth where collectors from every part of Mouse Island were showing off their precious cheese rinds. There were rinds from every era, from prehistory to the period of the Great Cat War, all the way to the Battle of Waterloo. Ash stopped in front of the booth 13. Here's your booth, Mr. Stilton, she said. I hope you're not superstitious. Good luck. With that, she left with a shake of her long blonde fur. Hercule pulled out a banana and started nibbling. Move those paws, Stilton, he said. Booth number 13 is unlucky. We should try to switch with someone. I don't believe in bad luck, I began. Actually, I did, but I didn't want to say it in front of Benjamin. Before I could continue, I slipped on the banana peel. Hercule had just dropped on the floor. See, Stilton, Hercule said as Benjamin and Bugsy reached down to help me up. I was right. Today seems to be your unlucky day. I hurt Mr. Stilton, came a squeak from behind. I whirled around and immediately recognized the standing rodent there. Reginald Runrat, Mouse Island's most famous cheese rind collector, I squeaked. Yes, that's me, he replied, and it is a great honor to have you as a neighbor, Stilton. My booth is right here, number 14. How nice of you to introduce yourself, Hercule interrupted. I'm Hercule Portrait, world-renowned private investigator and Geronimo Stilton's best friend. I'm here to guard his very precious cheese rind collection. I've heard a lot about your magnificent collection, replied Runrat, shaking my paw. Please come with me. I want to show you something truly unique. Reginald Runrat led us to a small display case. He moved the cloth that covered it and switched on the light, removing a cheese rind of the greenish glow. Why, this is the last surviving cheese rind from the world-famous Samuel Stinktail collection, dating back to the 16th century, I exclaimed. That is correct, Mr. Stilton, Rat replied. You are a cheese connoisseur. I've been hunting for this cheese rind since I was just a mouselet, I confessed. How did you find it? This is my little secret, Rat replied with a chuckle. Hercule examined the display case. This glass is so fragile. Isn't that a little dangerous? Dangerous? Not a chance, replied a squeak from behind us. Our security systems are the safest in the world. I turned to find myself snout to snout of an elegant female rodent, just as Hercule stepped out on my paw. The lovely rodent had long blonde fur and wore dark glasses. My name is Flora Ratson, she said. I'm the conventions director. Nice to meet you, I squeaked. My name is Geronimo Mr. Stilton, of course, she exclaimed. We've been waiting for you. You and Professor Rinrat are our guests of honor. Because your antique cheese mines are so valuable, we are providing you with the state-of-art, super high-tech security system. She stepped towards Rhinrat's display case and attached a special keypad. It's very easy to use, she explained. Just follow the simple steps. Pick a 5-number combination, memorize the combination, press each key once. If you tap the wrong key, the alarm will go immediately off. What if someone figures out our combination? Benjamin asked. The keypad is programmed to recognize only your unique paw print, Mr. Ratson explained. If another rodent tries to press the same keys, the alarms will go off. How fabulous, Rhinrat exclaimed. Just let me clean the keys and you can choose your combinations, Mr. Ratson said. If there are traces of other paw prints, the system won't work properly. She sprayed the keypad and then asked us to turn around while Professor Rinrat chose his 5 numbers. After Rinrat was done, we moved to my booth. Mr. Ratson used the spray and I selected my combinations. When I'd finished, Mr. Ratson said goodbye and scurried off. Benjamin and Bugsy exchanged a strange look. What's up? I asked him. Would you clean a keypad like that, Uncle G? Bugsy asked. And would you wear sunglasses inside? Benjamin asked. I shrugged. I don't know. Maybe I would if I were like Miss Ratson. She's as cool as iced cheese. Bugsy and Benjamin seemed suspicious of Miss Ratson. Why? I agree, my dear Stilton said. Hercule, I think that rodent is a big liar. But she's the director of the convention, I protested. That may be true, but I still like to take a look around this place, he replied before he disappeared. Meanwhile, Bugsy and Benjamin helped me create an attractive display of cheese rinds inside my case. Then I carefully entered my combination on the keypad. Now, that the rinds are safe, let's go take a look around. I told Benjamin and Bugsy. Let's show a Marvin Mouse. There are dozens of rare kinds of cheese, including one extremely rare prehistoric cheese fossil. As we walked around by Professor Rinrat's booth, I stopped to admire Stinktail's rind. All of a sudden, a rodent burst out from behind a display case. Yoo-hoo, I've made an interesting discovery. It was Hercule Poirot, of course. Why are you wearing those yellow gloves? Asked my friend. Well, dear Stilton, he replied, I spotted that director wearing gloves just like these. She secretly pressed the keypad, and guess what? The alarm did not go off. Look. He stretched his paw towards Rinrat's display case. No, I cried. I tried to stop him, but I stumbled, and my paw landed right on the keypad. The alarm went off with a deafening screech. Whew, whew. Security agents surrounded me intensely, and they were all pointing at me as if I was the thief. Flora Ratson immediately scurried to the scene. Please, Gentlemice, everything is okay, she told the agents. It was an accident. Then she turned to me. See, Mr. Stilton? No chance of theft. Let me clean the keypad. As she sprayed the keys again, I noticed she was wearing gloves that were black. Uncle G, did you see that, Bugsy? What did Bugsy see? Before I could reply, Professor Rinrat scampered towards me. Mr. Stilton, I am very sorry for what happened. Oh, thank you, I replied. I thought you would never suspect me too. Never, he declared. Not a gentlemouse like you. As a matter of fact, why don't we get a bite together? What a nice idea, I replied. Then I decided to really impress the professor. I accept, but only if it's on me. That's very kind of you, Professor Rinrat said. At that moment, Hercule's snout poked out from behind a column. Food? I'll join you. Right outside the exhibition hall, there was a little restaurant with a strange name, the Big Spender Bistro. We were about to sit down when Rinrat excused himself. I must go wash my paws, he said. They feel sticky. Me too, I replied, following him. When we returned to the table, Poirot was already ordering. If I like to start with 1 appetizer of mixed bananas, 2 servings of banana fondue, 3 banana omelets, 4 slices of banana bread, and 5 pieces of banana pie. Your friend has an exceptionally large appetite, Professor Rinrat observed. Bugsy and Benjamin laughed. Meanwhile, I was switchier than a slice of Swiss. I'd taken a look at the prices on the menu. Now I knew why this place was called the Big Spender Bistro. To eat here, you had to be a big spender. When the bill came, the meal cost more than my precious antique cheese rinds, but everyone seemed satisfied and full, and that made me happy. We headed back to the hall so we wouldn't miss the opening speech of the mice convention. As we scampered along, I overheard a conversation between two passing rodents. My paws feel sticky. Mine too, came the reply. That was interesting. Benjamin noticed my thought expression. I think I know what's making everyone's paws sticky, Uncle Geronimo. Bugsy and I joined the rest of the rodents in the exhibition hall. As for Hercule, he had disappeared. As the major scholars of the comparative sat in the long hall at the front hall, I recognized Professor Rattletoff, author of the influential book Rundology Cheese Rinds from Prehistoric to Present, and also Professor Skimprat, whose manual Rundomatics 1001 Fun Ways to Preserve Your Cheese Rind Collection was one of my favorite books on collecting. At last Mr. Ratson scurried up to the microphone. Hello, cheese lovers. It is a great pleasure that we kick off with our annual convention. Hercule has slipped into the seat behind me. No, it can't be the same rodent, he whispered. Psh, I said. I can't hear a word she's squeaking, but this rodent doesn't resemble her, he continued. Shh, please shut your mouth. Take my binoculars, Stilton, Hercule insisted. Does it look like her? Speaking about. Actually, Uncle, I think Mr. Poirot is right, Benjamin whispered. That mouse isn't the same rodent we met this morning. But if the rodent squeaking was a real Flora Ratson, then who had we met earlier? I turned around to tell Poirot he was right, but he had disappeared. Meanwhile, the director was finishing up her speech. With a round of applause and a heavy thank you to our security guards, Mr. Ratson continued. Getting to the agents to line up next to her on stage, there was a second round of applause. Clap, 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 clap. I noticed Ashdor was among the agents on stage, and a final thanks goes to the Ashdale Company for donating our security systems. There was a third round to applause, and now I'll turn to the floor over to Professor Harris Newsmouse, 12th century cheddar rind expert. There was absolutely no applause. Within 2 minutes, every mouse was sound asleep, including me. All of a sudden, Hercule poked me. Wake up, Stilton, he squeaked. Something is about to happen. I can tell. Just look at it. I looked on stage. Poirot was right. In fact, something had already happened. I have to admit, Poirot's suspicions were right on the snout. Ashdor was sneaking away weird. Poirot quickly followed Ash. I jumped up to follow Poirot. Benjamin and Bugsy jumped up to follow me. Professor Rinrat noticed that we were up on the move. He jumped up to follow Benjamin and Bugsy. A moment later, Poirot lost Ash down and we lost him. Suddenly found myself at a booth 14, Professor Rinrat's booth. All it took was a quick glance around to realize what had happened. The display case containing Samuel Stinktail's rind was empty. Poirot scurried towards me. Stop your cheddar-faced Steve, he yelled. Then he realized it was me. Stilton, don't tell me you've taken up stealing. At that moment, Professor Rinrat appeared behind him. When he saw me next to the empty display case, he started shouting too. So it was no accident that you set off my alarm this morning. Professor Rinrat squeaked. You stole my precious rind. You are a thief, Stilton. Caught in a trap. Security agents and nosy rind collectors surrounded me instantly. Flora Ratson started to interrogate me. Mr. Stilton, confess. Where did you hide Mr. Rhinrat's precious rind, and how did you avoid setting off the alarm? It wasn't me, I stuttered. I was following my friend Hercule Poirot, who was following the real thief. Hercule stroked his whiskers thoughtfully. Perhaps the real thief is playing dirty tricks on us. He was making Geronimo look guilty so we don't suspect him or her. The other collectors went back to their booth to check their own rinds. They had all disappeared. Only booth 13, mine, had not been robbed. How weird. It's Stilton, someone shouted. He's the thief. Give us back our rinds and rap, you burglar. That's enough, Mr. Ratson snapped. It's time to call the police. Crusty cheese rinds, I was being falsely accused. I had no way to prove my innocence. I was trapped like a rat in a maze. I was going to jail for sure. Black gloves and sunglasses. All of a sudden, I recognized a familiar squeak. Stop, everybody! It's not what you think! That's right, another little squeak exclaimed. Uncle G is not a thief. We have proof. Benjamin, Bugsy Wugsy, I cried, hugging them. Where have you been? We followed the thief, Uncle Geronimo, Benjamin explained. Wait a minute, who are these mouselets? Flora Ratson interrupted. My nephew and his friend, I said proudly, and I'm sure they'll prove my innocence. Let's hear it then, Mr. Ratson replied. This better be good or you're in hot fondue, Stilton. Benjamin started to explain. This morning a female rodent introduced herself to us with a bogus name. She said she was Flora Ratson. She gave us a security system for Uncle Geronimo's display case. She told us how to set the alarm. What? Flora Ratson objected. I did no such thing. Bugsy Wugsy continued. Right away, Benjamin and I wondered why she had sprayed on the system's keypad and why she wore dark sunglasses. Even inside the convention hall, I wondered about that too. One of the collectors exclaimed. During the chase, the thief dropped her glasses, Benjamin exclaimed. Here, Miss Ratson, try them on, and they looked at the keypad. Holy cheese, Flora Ratson squeaked. With these on, I can tell with 5 keys. Which 5 keys Professor Rinrat had pressed? Bugsy Wugsy nodded. And you can tell the order too. The first one is the darkest, and they get lighter as you get closer to the end of the combination. So the spray was used to record the paw prints, not erase them, a collector with brown fur said. That's why my paw was sticky, an elegant rodent added. But what imposter said that keypad would record our unique paw prints, another collector said. They're just one of many lies she told us, Benjamin said. Once a combination had been chosen, she used black gloves to avoid leaving her own paw prints here. Here they are. So, what did I tell you, Stilton? Hercule interrupted. He showed me these yellow gloves. I had already figured out part of her trick. The hunt for the thief. As more and more facts were uncovered, I felt myself relax like a mozzarella melting in the sun. Benjamin and Bugsy Wugsy had saved my fur big time. It looks like we owe you an apology, Mr. Stilton, Flora Ratson said. We suspect you unfairly. I blushed. Oh, please, it's nothing, I mumbled. Now I understand why the Ashdown Company provided us with their security systems for free. It was all a trick, Mr. Ratson went on. Benjamin, Bugsy Wugsy and I looked at one another. The name of the company reminded me of something. But what? We've solved the mystery. There's absolutely nothing to cheer about, Professor Rinrat objected. The thief had disappeared with all our precious cheese. My priceless Stinktail rind is lost forever. Blistering bananas, Borat exclaimed. I can't believe what I'm hearing. Okay, scrape the cheese out of your ears, because I'm the only one gonna say this. The crook cannot have escaped. How can you be so sure about that? The professor asked him. Because my name is Hercule Poirot, and I'm the greatest detective. Isn't that right, my dear Stilton? Before I could leave, he went on, while I was pretending to follow Ashdown. I locked this place up, tighter than Ratleyd's bank. A sly thief cannot have gone far. By cheese, I think I've got it to Uncle Geronimo. Benjamin exclaimed suddenly. Ashdown is an anagram for... But of course, Ashdown was an anagram for shadow. The shadow is an elusive thief who had made my snout spin on many other occasions, and squeak on my snout. At that moment, something landed right on it. Bugsy Wugsy picked it up. It was a black button with a white 0 on it. Look, Benjamin cried, up there. We all looked up. A blonde rodent was climbing the rafters of the exhibition, and there was a big window in the building's ceiling. She's getting away, Miss Ratson shouted. The shadow smirked and kept on climbing. We could hear the sound of a helicopter outside. Then we heard Poirot squeak. Don't mess with Hercule Poirot. He pulled out a yellow slingshot and a dozen bananas. Watch out, you sneaky thief. He aimed to his slingshot. The shadow was right about to grab a rope and jump onto the helicopter when she slipped on the banana peel. The bag she was carrying slid from her paws. Be careful, Miss Shadow, I shouted nervously. Even though she was a thief, I didn't want her to fall and break her paw. But the shadow had already grabbed on the rope and had swung on board the chopper. Burned banana bread, Poirot exclaimed, grabbing the bag as it fell towards us. He ripped it open and all the stolen cheese rinds were inside. By now the shadow was safe on the helicopter. She whistled and wrinkled her snout at us and then blew me a kiss. What a sly and slippery rodent. The second rind. The shadow had escaped, but at least we got our cheese rinds back. I invited everyone over to celebrate. The only one who couldn't make it was Hercule. He said he had an important appointment he couldn't miss. After dessert, Professor Rinrat gave me a little wooden box. Please accept this small gift as an apology. I shouldn't have accused you, Mr. Stilton. I couldn't believe my eyes. But this is, I stuttered, one of Samuel Stinktail's cheese rinds. Rinrat finished. I never told anybody there was 2. I wanted to be the only one to own his rinds. But now I know there's another mouse worthy of collecting them. My whiskers were shaking with emotion. How can I ever thank you? Professor Moonrat smiled. By putting the precious rind in a safe place. I nodded and scurried over to a display case. Then I turned paler than a slice of mozzarella. My cheese rinds have been stolen, I cried. At that moment, a yellow garbage can rolled into the room. To get your rinds back, insert 2 bananas. A sign in the can read, better make it 3. Hercule Poirot, I exclaimed. You get out of this minute. Then he lifted up, and Hercule smirked and snout appeared. Oh, hello, my dear friend. Did you like my little prank? I couldn't help laughing. Hercule's a terrible pranker, but he's also a really good friend.